I sat in the audience for the 1,000th time watching my annoying sister Mara's talk show. I was just about to fall asleep when suddenly a spotlight shone on me. There she is, my twin sister Brooke. Come help us play the game, sis. Wait, what? Before I could say a word, the audience started chanting my name and my parents nodded at me encouragingly. Mara was waiting on stage with her guest star, who was some famous model. So, Brookie, you and Iris are gonna play the card game War, and whoever wins breaks an egg on the other's head. Can I jump off a building first? Always such a little party pooper. I played the dumb card game until I won, so I cracked an egg on Iris's head before turning to go off stage. Ow! You just hit me in the head with an egg. That was the goal of the game, genius. Well, you did it way too hard. Ow! The next day, my accidental egg assault was all over YouTube and social media. Sister of talk show host Mara gets violent with popular model Iris. So melodramatic. My life wasn't always like this. I'd never asked to live in the public eye. All of this started when my bimbo sister got her own show a year ago and became a child millionaire. Then here I was, just trying to get through high school without punching or kicking walls. Hi, I'm Brooke from Manhattan, and this is my story. But before I rant about my drama, please like and subscribe. Everyone at school brought up the stupid talk show incident. Look, it's Mara's extra crazy sister Brooke. Should we refer to her as the egg beater? I can beat an egg over your head, but don't worry, I'll avoid smashing your new nose. You're always such a witch. This is why nobody at school likes you. She was so cute for thinking that I cared. Anyway, around lunchtime, I headed to the bathroom when suddenly I jumped. One of the most popular guys in school, Lance, was right behind me, smirking. He was a part of a clique of 4 other heartthrobs who all looked like Wattpad princes. You are looking lovely today, princess. You just followed me into the girls' bathroom. I wanted to ask you out on a date. You've never even made eye contact with me before. I used to think you were just Mara's mean loser sister, but when I saw what you did on TV, I practically fell in love with you, babe. I've always wanted a girl with that kind of fire. So I'll pick you up tonight at 8? I didn't answer. I just pushed Lance away from my face and towards the toilet bowl. He landed head first, and I couldn't help laughing. Except later that day, I noticed the rest of Lance's dreamy friends kept staring at me with that same smirk on their faces. In fact, all 5 of them slipped envelopes into my locker asking me on a date. This had to be some kind of joke. I decided to ask Mara about it, since she was the school queen bee and full of gossip. But surprisingly, Mara didn't know anything. Then later that night, she gave me some crazy news. She'd invited all 5 of those guys to come onto her talk show, where she'd set up a competition over who could win a date with me, without even asking me. So what if they're just hitting on you for a joke or a bet? It'll be so much fun. You've never been on any kind of date, and you're in the 12th grade. Please. I finally gave in, but I knew those boys were up to something, and if they were gonna mess with me, I was gonna mess with them too. On the night of the show, I sat center stage behind a table while the 5 idiot heartthrobs lined up behind a rope. Each of them had 30 seconds to impress me. After you pushed me into the toilet, I went and bought you flowers. I also have chapstick to put on before kissing you for our date. Too bad your breath smells like a sewage drain. Next! If you were my girlfriend, I'd take you to a restaurant right on the ocean and buy a giant ice cream sundae with ice cream makes me puke. So, I used to be an underwear model, but then I'm embarrassed for you. I had this flown over from Japan? No! By the time the 5th guy, Zeke, came over, I was already exhausted. Then I noticed he was holding a guitar. Oh my god. Brookie, oh Brookie, honey, my heart is yours. Yeah, Brookie, oh Brookie, Brookie, my sassy princess I adore. The audience went wild, and I wanted to cringe. But for some reason, I found myself smiling. So when it was time to choose the guy I'd go on a date with, I chose Guitar Boy Zeke. I just had to remember that he probably didn't really like me, and if he was planning on humiliating me, I had to beat him at his own game. So when I met Zeke for our picnic date, I came wearing my mom's wedding dress. What's that you're wearing? A wedding dress. That way, we can imagine what it'll be like when we get married one day. Ever since the talk show, I've fallen head over heels for you. And after that song you sang for me, I know now that you feel the same way. I'd hoped the guy would run scared and crying, but instead, he laughed. I must have really won you over with that song I played you. I'm not done with you yet, Prince Charming. During our picnic, I sat on his lap and made him feed me every bite of food and hold the water cup up to my lips. And when he turned to get a napkin, I started fake crying hysterically. We were staring into each other's eyes, but you looked away. Is it because my eyes are ugly? Or are you breaking up with me? I have nothing else to live for now. You are so extra. I know what'll cheer you up. Let's have a romantic dance. Wait, what? Before I could say a word, Zeke turned on classical music and pulled me up to dance. He started spinning and twirling me around and even threw me in the air. God, he was crazy. Later on, Zeke drove me home, but he said he needed to stop at his house first for something. I decided then I'd confront him. Look, I know you're either dating me because you bet your friends money or you guys want to humiliate me as a joke. Either way, I'm just telling you, I didn't fall for it. I told those guys you'd be too smart to trick. It was Lance's idea to bet money on which one of us can win you over. I never wanted to do it, but I couldn't tell Lance that, because whatever Lance wants, Lance gets. Zeke then told me his dad and Lance's dad were friends, and because Lance's family was rich, his dad was going to pay for a music college Zeke got into. Therefore, he could never afford to ever piss off Lance. And don't tell Lance I said any of this. Please, just let me tell him you fell for me and you asked me to be your boyfriend. I really want to go to music school. Come on, you don't care what anyone thinks, and you're already unpopular and barely have any friends, and no offense. How little self-respect did this guy think I had? I wanted to give him a good slap in the face, but just then, Zeke stopped by this really run-down trailer next to a pile of garbage. Okay, we're here. My dad's sick, so I have to check on him every few hours. Holy crud, this is where he lived? This place was a single room, and Zeke's dad was in a bed with an oxygen tank. I guessed with his dad's medical bills, he'd never have enough money to even think about music school. So I decided to let Zeke tell Lance he was gonna keep dating me for a bet. The next day at school, I saw Lance and the other 3 heartthrobs looking at me and snickering to themselves. Even other kids seemed to be onto the bet, but I could live through it. I was doing a good deed by humiliating myself. Plus, Zeke was fun to be around, and I didn't mind having him as my fake boyfriend. One night, I decided to invite him to a celebrity party Mara and I were attending. I even bought him a suit and tie, and secretly, I thought he looked super handsome. At one point, I was walking by the entrance when suddenly I saw Zeke standing with Lance and his friends, and Zeke was saying he had to go. What do you mean? This is a huge exclusive party that I invited you to. Listen, cranky face, I came to pick up your boyfriend for some last-minute plans. Surely you two can reschedule. With that, Zeke took off with the boys, and for some reason, I felt really angry about it. Just then, Mara came over to ask if I was okay, and I ended up telling her everything. Look, I know you feel bad for Zeke because of his home situation, but you don't have to sell your dignity for charity. If you think he doesn't genuinely care about you, just dump his sorry butt in front of everyone tomorrow. Or I can talk tomorrow in school, like an actual mature person. But I know maturity is kind of a foreign concept to you and the other kids at school. Okay, listen, sis, you've never had any real friend or boyfriend before, and I'm at the top of our school's social ladder. I know how to deal with these things. I can handle this myself, thanks. Just because I don't date a different guy each week doesn't mean I need boy advice from you. So on Monday at school, I headed to the bleachers at lunch where I knew Zeke practiced guitar, except he spotted me first and immediately came over to hug me. I am so sorry about what happened at the party. Lance decided at the last minute that he wanted to have a betting party. Kids at school are betting on how I'm gonna break your heart and everything. I realize this may be going too far. It's going way too far. I tried to do a nice thing for you, but you're totally taking advantage of me. Also, how long are you going to be Lance's slave for? Can't you get a scholarship to the school or something? No, I'm not talented enough. It's cool. I'll tell Lance the truth and stand up to him. I'll just find something other than music that makes me happy. Zeke turned to walk away, but I just couldn't let him give up his friends, his reputation, and his dreams. So I told Zeke I'd help him apply for a scholarship because even though he didn't believe in himself, I knew he was talented enough to get one. And 2 weeks later, he got accepted. You just made my dreams come true. Brooke, no one has ever believed in me like that before. You're amazing. Zeke suddenly picked me up and spun me around, which made me feel butterflies. After that, Zeke and I became really close and started hanging out all the time. I helped him take care of his dad, and he helped me make some friends at school. Except there were a couple of issues. One, I started to develop real romantic feelings for Zeke, and 2 was Zeke still hadn't told Lance the truth, even though it was part of our agreement. So finally, Zeke decided to confront Lance one day after school as I hid behind a tree to listen in.
Look, man, I told Brooke about the bet. It's not right the way we're manipulating her. Plus, I've been hanging out with her, and I think I want to date her for real. You know, she helped me get a scholarship to the music school you were going to pay for. Now, you don't have to. Are you kidding me? What am I going to tell all the kids who've been giving us money, betting the different ways you can dump her? You're one of us, Zeke, and she's an unpopular loser. It'll make the whole squad look bad. If you date her, then you're dead to us. Fine then. You guys are jerks anyway. I'm gonna get myself an awesome girlfriend.
I held my breath as I watched Zeke ditch his friends for me. And just like that, Zeke and I became an item. He held my hand, kissed me in public at school, and didn't even seem to care that he'd lost all his friends and popularity. Everything seemed to be going well, at least for a couple of weeks. Then one weekend, I went away with my family for a camping trip with no Wi-Fi or cell reception. But when I arrived back at school on Monday, something horrible happened. I was sitting in the cafeteria when suddenly Zeke stood up on one of the tables with a microphone and speakers.
Can I have everyone's attention? I have something to say to my girlfriend, Brooke. I'm sorry, babe, but I just can't date you anymore. I've realized that I don't want to be with a stuck-up sourpuss who's way below my league. It's also really lame that you've never dated anyone before. So for all of you out there who bet money how I dump Brooke, the ones who selected public humiliation win.
I stood with shock as I watched a bunch of kids run over to Zeke, Lance, and the other guys with cash. None of this made any sense. Had it just all been a setup? I ran out of the room and into the hallway to collect myself when I saw Zeke behind me.
Brooke, I am so sorry I had to do that, but I had a good reason.
What good reason could you possibly have for humiliating me like that?
Please, just listen to me. My dad had to have an emergency medical procedure over the weekend that I couldn't pay for. And since there was no way to reach you, I had to ask Lance for help. He said he'd only pay for it on the condition that I publicly dump you. I'm so sorry. I still want to be with you though. It just might have to be in secret.
You know what? No, I don't care what your reasons are. I am so freaking sick of all of your excuses to manipulate and humiliate me. We're done, Zeke. That night, I refused to let myself cry. Zeke didn't deserve my tears. I didn't need any cowardly idiots in my life anyway. The next afternoon, I was studying in the library when I decided to take a break for some coffee and MSA videos. But while I was relaxing, Lance suddenly sat down next to me.
Ooh, MSA. I watch them on TikTok all the time. Let me help you pick an episode.
If you come anywhere near me or my computer, I'll squeeze your head until your brain pops out. Oh wait, I forgot, you don't have a brain. Probably why you watch MSA on TikTok instead of YouTube. You know, YouTube, the site for smart people.
Wow, Zeke must really regret dumping you.
Yeah, about that. I know it was you who forced Zeke to break up with me. Why do you have to go around messing with his life and mine? The way you and your friends bet on me and tried to break my heart for fun? How sick do you have to be to want to do something like that?
Maybe some people just enjoy messing with other people's lives. You should ask your sister. After all, the whole betting game was her idea.
Lance got up and left, leaving me very confused. What did he mean by that? He was probably just messing with me, but I still asked Mara about it, and she got really quiet. Okay, it's true that it was my idea, but let me explain. I just felt bad because our whole lives, you've lived in my shadow. I have everything. Fame, popularity, friends, and you didn't get any of that. So I wanted to find you a cute boyfriend to make you happy. Except none of the guys at school wanted to date you. The only ones who were willing to were Lance and his friends, if they could make money off of it. But I had hoped one of them would fall for you for real. I was stunned and silent as Mara apologized over and over. I knew her heart had been in the right place, but she'd gotten me into such a giant mess. God, I just needed space from everyone. The next morning, I was going through the mail when I saw an envelope from Zeke's music school. To my surprise, they'd returned a check I'd paid as a deposit to confirm his place in the program. Apparently, Zeke had called the college and declined the offer to attend. I thought right away of his sick dad, and suddenly I got a bad feeling. I drove immediately to Zeke's house, but when I reached there, he was sitting outside and playing guitar, looking perfectly happy. Zeke, is everything okay? Did you call your college and decline the offer?
Yeah, I just didn't feel right taking your money to attend there, not after the way I treated you. So I'm just gonna save up and reapply next year. In the meantime, I got a job and my dad's doing better. Thank you for believing in me, Brooke. You have no idea how much it means to me.
Zeke came over to hug me and I felt those stupid, happy butterflies again. Hey, listen, are you still friends with Lance?
God, no. I'm done being his slave. I took a loan and paid him back everything I owed him for Dad.
So, if I give you a second chance, that means you can't be an idiot this time.
I swear on my life I won't be. I want you back, and I won't have it any other way.
So, I guess my sister did achieve her goal of finding me a guy, even though it was in the craziest way possible. Still, maybe one of these days I could thank her for it.